All right, my friends, so I had a guy reach out to me the other day who's willing to pay my $2,500 fee, but I had to reject him. And the reason for that is pretty simple, is because he wanted a lot of tax minimization planning and value added there. And the issue that comes down the pike is when you're single and you've done a great job squirreling money away, there isn't much you can do from a tax perspective for tax minimization. I mean, we can make things like this guy. I think had like $855,000 in a 401k plan or an IRA, another 700, 800, maybe even $1 million in a taxable account. He was a widow, so he was getting survivor benefits from Social Security, and if memory serves, he was 64, maybe 65 years old. There just isn't much that can be done. Now we could come up, concoct a plan to do massive amounts of Roth 401k, Roth IRA conversions before he hits Social Security at 7, before he hits his RMD at 70, and before he takes his own Social Security. It just doesn't make any sense. Hey, he's already on survivor benefits, so he's already on Social Security, so concoct a plan to do these massive amounts of Roth conversions to avoid RMDs or mass amounts of RMDs in the future. It doesn't change the fact he's going to be subject to IRMA, the increasing Medicare premiums, and even that's not that big of a deal, frankly, because there's no getting around it. At some point, you have enough wealth or so much wealth that there's literally no getting around the fact that you're going to be subject to IRMA, and again, that's an increase in Medicare premiums. And even there, being subject to IRMA isn't the worst thing to ever happen. I mean, you're talking, say your Medicare premiums are $135, and you got to pay double. That's $270. That's not worth massive amounts of prepaying taxes today to avoid that extra $135 a month of Medicare Part B premiums, and then Part D, which is $35 a month. It just isn't worth it. On top of that, this guy's already paying, he's already in Social Security on survivor benefits. So to do massive amounts of Roth conversions to avoid future taxes, that doesn't make sense either, because we're pulling taxes forward that he won't maybe never have to pay, some because he might be dead. Your RMDs aren't very high on the front 10 years of once you hit 70. You're talking 3.7%. First year 3.9, 4.1, 4.3, and so on and so on. There aren't massive amounts of RMDs by any stretch of the imagination that's gonna kill you tax-wise. But if you start doing massive Roth conversions, like I was telling this guy, it's gonna be like $150,000 a year. And there's just no benefit of that, man. There's no benefit. So for him to pay me $2,500, in which for me to tell him there is no benefit, because we don't want you to have to pull all this money forward and pay tax on now. Well, you may never have to pay that much taxes on it anyway, because you might be dead. It just doesn't make sense. So where I help people, at least what I think is my sweet spot, if that makes sense, is I help people who are married filing jointly, usually between 55 and 65 years old, who've done a great job squirreling away money. I help them because we can try to do things to take advantage of the married filing jointly tax status and avoid the widow's tax trap. Two is I help a lot of widows, survivors, widows, and single people, single women in particular, it seems, who are worried they're going to run out of money. So from a tax perspective, it's the people who are concerned about the widow's tax trap, the married filing jointly, and we got to start moving money over to Roths to avoid the widow's tax trap down the road, which they're going to get hit on without question. And then two, I got a lot of 65, 66-year-old single women who are worried that they're going to run out of money, and we need to do planning there. And those are that's where I think I shine, those two areas. If you're single and you got millions of dollars set aside, there isn't much I can do for you at this stage. Not to justify, in my opinion, the fee I'm going to charge. It's not, because I'll tell you, you're going to have to pay the tax. You're either going to pay it now or you're going to pay it in the future. But to pay it now, where you could push it off in the future, it just doesn't make sense to me. And you know, I had this guy, my only guy who was negative on me on my YouTube channel, not on my YouTube channel, on my Google, my business. He lied about me. He said we never talked about Roth conversions or estate planning, and I said, hell, we didn't. We did. It's just it didn't make sense to do what you to do it, because there was no benefit at all about doing Roth conversions if we're just going to pay the taxes today that could be pushed off the future. And there weren't going to be any more taxes for him if we did it in the future than they would do if we did today. So it's like, why not just wait? And he, you know, basically lied and said we didn't talk about that. I said, yeah, we did, man. We absolutely did. You just didn't like what I was telling you. You wanted me to, you know, kind of pull a rabbit out of the hat. And so from then on, I said, yeah, I got to be careful with people who are single wanting tax strategies that aren't going to do anything. So if you're sitting on 7 figures of assets and you're single and you're in the mid-60s, there's not much I can do for you. Now, if you're married, that's different. If you're single and you're worried about running out of money as opposed to tax planning, yeah, we're in business for sure. But you know, single people who are mid-60s who are already on Medicare, there's not much I can do. I'm sorry to say. It's just a lot of times you're going to pay me my fee, so I can tell you you've done a great job. You know, you just got to move on. And I learned that from that guy on my Google who said he never did this. I said, yes, we did. Just you didn't like what you know. I'm going to be honest with you. I said we did do this. It's just you don't want to hear the end result, which the end result is you've done great, man. There's not much we can do going forward. Just keep doing what you're doing. Ultimately, you have to pay the taxes unless you want to give the money away. And if you don't want to give the money away, I'm not your guy. All right, we'll see you next time.